If you could only play one game this year, play Proximate. You can't see in this horror game. All you have is the information your AI glasses give you. It's really impactful when you finally take them off.
Oh my god, we see!
Until then, the AI tells you what it thinks you're seeing. Like a plant, a woman, which it's only 40% certain about, and of course, the minced meat lying next to her. And, oh, you hear that?
Oh.
That's a puddle of ketchup that the woman and the minced meat are lying in. Something caused the people here to spill their food. Permanently. And eventually, you will meet the cause of this disaster.
Oh, I don't want to move!
Let's start at the beginning. The game starts with us booting up the AI glasses just as our little submarine pod docks at an underwater lab. Once the visor is online, we get our first taste of what working with the sonar system is like. We don't actually see anything. What you get instead is a word describing whatever you're facing, a confidence percentage, a distance number, a little distance indicator, and a compass. That's it. That's your entire vision. A guess approximation. Oh. It's like if ChatGPT is your eyesight. If we look around, we can see that we are in a tiny submarine. Quick note, to make this video more exciting, I've added visuals and voiceovers that aren't actually in the game. But when you never played the game, you don't know what is what. So I added this little indicator here. And if you see this, it means I added this. It's not in the original game. All right. As you can see in this visual that is not originally in the game, but that I have added, the pod has an airlock, a console, and 2 portholes you can see through.
Porthole. Let's go there. Oh.
Could have been a fish. Fish have eyes. And we're under the sea, as we can hear, so there's no reason to worry. If we check the console, we can find a contract explaining why we are here. We've been hired by a company called Edward & Davis to retrieve research documents from the lab. But weirdly, we're not getting paid, not directly. Looking closely, the company agreed to finance some unspecified medical procedure instead of giving us money. Which is probably another unremarkable thing. It's probably not a sketchy thing at all. So before we can overthink it, we get a call.
Hey, champ! Did you dock all right? You should be able to activate the airlock and take a stroll around now. The sonar visor is designed by the industry's top minds, so I'm sure you'll find your legs with it soon. I'll circle back once you've got your bearings. Oh, and if you could just refrain from breaking anything while you're down there, that would be great. Thanks, bye.
Gene adds an objective marker to our map and we can see that we have to enter the lobby to reach it. So we walk out of the pod into an airlock, which adjusts loudly before opening up the way to the reception area. As we set our first step into the lab, we hear that this room is carpeted. Our pod had a hard metal floor and now our steps are muffled. Every room sounds different and this is actually very handy because it helps us navigating this place. The first thing we see in the lobby is the reception desk right in front of us. If we scan the room, we notice that we are not alone in here. On one side of the room, we suddenly see that our glasses are 40% sure to see a woman. Investigating further, we notice that the woman is lying next to a laptop and what the AI deems minced beef.
Hold on. Woman? Mince beef.
When we walk closer to the woman, we also see that she sits in the middle of a gigantic puddle of a red fluid.
Oh. A bit of ketchup?
I don't think I need to spell it out for you, but the minced beef is the rest of the woman. And that ain't ketchup as well. Something happened in this lab. Something that shredded her apart so badly that the AI can't even confidently identify her as human anymore. I love this environmental storytelling. We are just shoved into this world, into this lab, and find all sorts of clues of what happened here and what happened to the people working here. And piecing together these clues and trying to find answers is just really rewarding. And this is just the very first room. We're going to find a whole lot more. Unfortunately, we can't access the laptop since we are missing the required key, but we can still connect to the reception desk. If we do that, we start a download of several files.
Wow, champ, look at you go. Walking around, opening doors, downloading files. Great stuff. Knew you had it in you. Head back to the console and I'll send you the next directive. You'll get access to more parts of the lab each time you upload new files. Don't want you getting turned around too much, eh? Who knows what's out there? Have a good one, champ. Bye.
Okay, so Gene just told us that in order to proceed deeper into the lab, we need to bring the files we just downloaded back to the console, upload it, and then he will give us access to the next room. Seems a little bit complicated. Why not give us access right from the bat? We would be out here way sooner. In any case, we do what we are told and upload the files on our console, and indeed, we get access to the next room. While we are still at the console, we can also check out the files we downloaded. The first thing we see is an org chart that tells us that only 8 people worked in this place and a certain Simon is chief scientist and head of this facility. Looking at the job descriptions, we can make an interesting observation. Next to Operation Officer Savannah and Habitat Technician Riot, both probably keeping this facility running, there's also Head Surgeon Ezra and Neurosurgeon Xander, but also Head Engineer Mason and Bioengineer Ella. So they had both medical doctors who work on the human body and engineers who work with machines. This mix of experts tells us that they were trying to combine biology with technology. Probably. Based on this observation, that is correct because I've played through this game multiple times, so it's... additionally, there is radiologist Willow. Incidentally, we can read one of her private chats with the former mentioned bioengineer Ella, from which we can learn that these two are rather close. Willow and Ella are kinda the protagonist, and we will hear a lot more about them in the game. The last thing we can read is a file called pleaseread.txt.
Take the drill, make a hole, cup your hands, and drink the salt waters of your hollow skull, searching for what's right below. We never even had a chance. It came from beyond the ever-hungry hole. If you hear it, face away.
So, these aren't exactly important research documents. We need to get into the kitchen to find more files. But when we turn around from the console... What is this? Uh-oh. Seems like we're being followed by the subscribe goblin. Quick, click this button to pay tribute to the subscribe goblin goddess. Or get cursed with a bad algorithm only showing you hobby horsing content for the rest of the week. Okay, all jokes aside, this is your last chance to hop off. We're going to dive headfirst into this game. And I'm going to spoil this shit so hard. You don't even know what is what anymore. And you have to, this game is good. What's the next section? Okay, I got it. The kitchen is a weird place. The first thing we see is a cleaver and a whole lot of jam. And at first I was like, okay, which of these poor fuckers lies here in a pile of their shredded remains? But there's nothing else of the sort here. The only other noteworthy find is that the recycler, a device that transforms biological waste into energy, shows readings 6,000% higher than normal. Another strange thing about this room is that we're supposed to connect to a fridge, of all things, to download important research documents. And when we do, we actually get a new batch of files. And then something happens. Something unsettling in a game where sound is so crucial. A new noise emerges. A noise that you can't quite identify, but you just know it's not a good sound.
Can I go to this recycler? What? Oh crap! Well, looks like someone came back for the jam.
Uploading the data back at the console reveals why we can connect to a fridge to download research files. Apparently, Habitat technician Riot has added every smart device in the facility to a data mesh. So everything is connected to the internal network. But why? Well, as you read conversations of Riot with other lab members, you get the feeling that this Riot person brings a certain chaotic energy. And as we will soon see, this feeling will prove to be spot on.
Nice. Oh god, okay. Riot is the best.
And finally, we discover the true nature of this lab's research project. In order to tackle the ever-increasing labor shortage that has been devastated the economies in this future version of Earth, they are planting neural network chips into fresh cadavers, as they call them. Or in short, they put AI chips in corpses to let them work. And if you think, hey, wait a minute, this is weird. First of all, yes, very good. It is weird. And also, in another chat with Ella, Willow expresses moral concerns about their work.
Sanctuary moon tonight?
Maybe tomorrow. I've had a day.
What did Xander do this time?
Not him. It's just, there was a kid today. 14, I think. It just felt wrong.
We're bringing them back, though.
Yeah, to work.
I mean, everyone works. What do you think we're doing here?
But Willow's browser history reveals her inner conflict.
What to do if my crush is evil? Woman I love, supports, necromancing their children. Am I the asshole Reddit? Tips for quitting your high security job, 800 meters under the Antarctic Ocean.
The last noteworthy files we can read is a letter to a certain Oliver from Simon, the head of the facility.
Dear Ollie, the Edward psychologist came in again today. The team must have taken acting classes while I wasn't looking because somehow we all passed eval. We might get that Series B funding yet. I told her that writing these letters has been helping, but how could it? When my lungs crawl into my throat every time my fingers move to the song of your name.
It reads like this Oliver isn't alive anymore and that these letters are a coping strategy for Simon to deal with his grief. Now, look, I know that sounds random, but if you're thinking, why is he even bringing it up? Don't. The next objective, two this time, are in the bedrooms. We can reach them through the kitchen, but since it's L-shaped, navigation can be tricky without knowing the layout. Thankfully, there's a map in the console that you can download and check while exploring. It even tracks your location in the lab. And man, I wish I would have known this in my first playthrough. Reaching the connected smart device, a guitar amp this time, we download the next batch of files when...
Hold on.
Something came into the bedroom's hallway, and when we go to investigate, our Visor's proximity alarm starts going off.
What does that mean? What's that?
The thing is, we need to connect to a second device in this area, in the very last bedroom to be precise. But whatever is standing in this corridor is kinda in our way, so we gotta go confront that thing and be brave! Standing in the middle of the hallway, the proximity sensor goes off beeping up a storm, and our visor displays nothing. Not even a word, but blank space. Well, at least it's 100% sure. This has never happened before. It's always displaying something. Even if it's not sure of what it sees, it's at least displaying its best guess. But here, nothing. And if we shimmy ever so slowly closer, the beeping becomes more hectic until...
Okay, it's gone.
Well, guess it was just a glitch in our glasses. So, no need to worry, guys. There's no jump scare coming up, no loud noises. I'm not building up to anything here. You can relax. There's nothing going to jump in your face with a loud screech. I'm just curious, do you wear headphones? Yes, okay. Do you mind turning up the volume, preferably to the max? You can safely do that because there aren't gonna be any loud peaks of horror stingers or loud screams of women dying horribly in pain while they watch their unborn child burn in hell. So you can just do that. now. There isn't gonna be any point to this bit. We reach the second device, a 3D printer, get the files, and...
Hey, champ. Looks like your Visor's onboard memory is almost full. Let me just clear some stuff for you. Nothing too important, just your cache, some old software versions, that photo of your cat, your map. Oh, don't worry, you'll still have the one in your submarine console. Should have no problem getting around. How about you open your map and I'll give you a few seconds to memorize your way back home, yeah? 10, 9, 8,
Okay.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
alright.
Oh, there it goes. See ya.
Well... Fuck.
We are now officially mapless for the rest of the game. At least we can look at the map back at the console to memorize the layout. And having a look into the new files, we are still lacking any meaningful research data. But, guys, we have more interpersonal drama. So Ella and Riot are besties, and Ella tells Riot that she is indeed in love with Willow, and since we had a glance at Willow's side before, we now have confirmation that they both feel the same about each other. Guys, mutual feelings confirmed!
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me!
But although they are already intimate with each other, Ella still hesitates to drop the L word. However, Riot gives Ella a very Riot-esque pep talk.
How do I tell Willow I love her?
Those words.
I would rather die.
Then die, bitch. Tell the pretty girl you love her, or I will lock you in the vents.
Please, don't lock me in the vents.
You will spend the rest of your life skittering in the walls like a smelly rat.
No.
Little stinky rat. Stanky coward homo rat.
Fuck, fine. Okay, I'll tell her.
Besides, you're already fucking anyway, so what's the big deal?
Wait, how do you know that? Riot?
On the other side of this love story, things aren't going so well. It seems that shortly after this conversation, one of the bodies they were installing an AI chip into malfunctioned and began to scream. Everyone else is handling this as just another minor setback of the project, a malfunctioning chip, but Willow apparently is having a mental breakdown because of this incident. She is locking herself in her room and blocks any communication. And as the first document that can be favorably classified as research data, we can read a radiology report that Willow wrote about the body that began to scream, or as the lab calls them, cadaver number 218. In very scientific terms, it's concluded that it was indeed a malfunctioning chip and not a spark of resurrected consciousness of a human suddenly jolted back to life. Fee you! But at the end of that report, Willow has added some personal notes. Apparently she's been making it a habit looking up the social media profiles of the people they were experimenting on and writing down what they were doing and what they were like when they were alive. Almost like to remind everyone that these bodies they are working on were living human beings once, with feelings and daily routines. And every time you read that these researchers are talking about these people as cadavers, you know that they do need this reminder. By now we can check out the bathroom, which is in a desolate state. The cabin walls have been torn down and mirrors are broken as we can hear the crunching of glass under our boots. So what smart device could possibly be here to be interacted with? What a dumb fucking question. It's of course the Remfield Smart Toilet. Trademarked. And after we download research data which quality finally fits the device we got it from, the Remfield Smart Toilet activates.
Blockage detected. Source of blockage appears to be human head. If you would like assistance in removing blockage, please reach out to one of our friendly technicians. Thank you for choosing Renfield.
Well. Okay. Well, I guess it's occupied.
And suddenly we realize a crucial detail about this room that we have missed. There's something next to the toilet.
Oh! To be fair, it's only 18% sure it's a spine at all, so it could be anything. Well, I mean, it could be a headless torso and with a little bit of spine sticking out, because the rest of the man or the person is clogging the toilet. But let's just go with the visor, alright? I don't want to dope technology, I'm no hater.
We are now faced with a big problem. You see, this allegedly human head clogged the toilet, and now the bathroom is kind of flooded with a shoe-drenching level of toilet water. So, not much. But since we are in an underwater facility, the automatic leak detection kicked in, and now all doors of the bathroom are emergency locked. We can't get out anymore. The solution to this is that we need to channel the little stinky homo rat in us and crawl into the vent in the corner of the room. And after a short while, we can drop down into the adjacent room.
Uh-oh. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa!
We jumped right in front of the monster, in a moment that can only be described as this game's equivalent of...
He's right behind me, isn't he?
The sensor is beeping in our ears and we need to get out of here as soon as possible. And every time we take a look at this thing, our AI visor has an existential crisis.
Let me take a quick peek.
Ooh! Up until this point, you would think that you have a very good grasp of the mechanics. You know your way around, you know how to find things. But when you're suddenly being pursued by a monster, this game turns into the most complex astrophysicist math equation, almost as complex as this sentence. And in my blind panic, I just ran somewhere, anywhere, and all I found were locked doors.
It's locked. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what to do.
Interestingly though, the monster moves very slowly. So slow, in fact, that when I ran out of the range of my proximity sensor, I was confused if the thing was still there.
Fern? Did you go? Did you go? No! No!
Eventually, though, I found the right way.
There! Ketchup? Ooh, I found ketchup. Oh, I'm back in the... Oh!
Consulting the map back at the console, the only way we can still consult the map after our visor map was deleted, we see that we jumped out of the vent in co-working. From there on out, we go from room to room and connect with several devices, like a jukebox in the recreation room that I really liked.
Oh no. No, no, no. Close.
Or bionics, where we connected to one of the specimen, but our visor said it was a
man? Okay.
And of course, the bio-waste disposal, with its crunchy human remains scattered across the floor, where we connect to a chip.
Oh, okay, there's a EGP7 chip. Let's connect with that. Wait, what? Why are we patching, guys? Uh-oh. Who? Dog? Well, who is knocking? Gene? What do you want?
Hey, champ. Looks like you've installed a bad update.
What do you mean?
It's alright, can't fault you for it too much. We did say tech literacy was optional for the role. Honestly, it's on us. Head back to the console and I'll reset your visor for you. I'm sure you know your way around by now. You've certainly dawdled down there enough.
Okay, dog. Why is it say dog? Is everything dog now? Yeah, everything is dog now. Who is knocking? I don't want to open this. Ooh, okay, what do I do? I can't. Okay, I'm gonna open. Okay. I'm gonna open. Hello? So, who was knocking?
Although all we can see is dog, we eventually find our way back to the console. And what we find in the downloaded files is disturbing. Through a series of chat logs and scientist notes, we uncover the deteriorating situation in the lab. Simon, the chief scientist, has been making regular trips into a nearby trench and discovered a mysterious hole. one that's growing at an alarming rate. According to his equation, he states that in a bit over a year, it will consume the lab if the hole is going to continue to grow at this rate. He doesn't seem to be concerned, but more scientifically interested. And just as a side note, he calculated that in roughly 72 years, the hole will be big enough to swallow the entire planet. A couple of days later, Simon writes another log and, do you spot something odd in here?
Dear Ollie, I saw you today. I was taking my daily measurements of the hole, which has continued growing at a rate not dissimilar to what I calculated. It was then that I'd felt a hunger, a disembodied pull from some other stomach. I knew that it was the hole that was hungry, and I was its conduit.
Whatever Simon found in that trench, it's clear that the prolonged exposure begins to have an effect on him. And just 2 weeks later, he writes this.
Dear Ollie, it really is you. I used to wonder how you could have left us so suddenly, but of course you did. You've always been down there, watching, waiting for me to find you again. I want to bring you back. I know what must be done, but your hunger frightens me. Forgive me, my sunshine. You have loved a coward. I will let the team decide. They have always known best.
In the following group chat, Simon addresses the entire team about a vote he wants to commence the following day.
Hi team. I trust you've all read the email I sent this morning. Tomorrow, we'll be taking the issue to a vote.
I am a little bit concerned, Simon. Does Edward know about this?
No.
Dude, this is sick!
Is this a joke? How is this even up for debate?
Because the hole is hungry.
We don't know what Simon is planning, but according to Willow's disbelief, it can't be anything reasonable. And also Simon saying that the hole is hungry is also not a really comforting thing to hear. Ask my wife, she would know.
Hey, am I hallucinating or did Simon just say that the hole is hungry? Hole's hungry, Mason. Me when the hole is hungry. What the fuck is that? Simon sent it to me a few days ago. Said he found Oliver in the hole. That does not look like Oliver. Nope. Leak tonight? Fuck yeah.
I love that these guys are absolutely unfazed whatsoever about their manager's clear red flag waving descent into madness. Even the love story that has been taking place is taking a darker turn. In their chat logs, we can see Ella confessing about her feelings via text after being unable to reach Willow in person. But Willow's response is cold. She rejects Ella with vague reasons about values not aligning. Even as Ella desperately tries to salvage their relationship, Willow keeps pushing her away. And when Willow finally breaks her silence, things get even darker. She reveals she's been battling severe depression. And honestly, how can you not in this world where you are 800 meters under the surface, weeks with no sunlight, and actively working on a future where the dead can be brought back to life just to work on a conveyor belt to make something as meaningful as the next tiny plastic radio they put in a Happy Meal that plays a 30-second snippet of Music is the Sky from Naturally 7 that sounds like 17 continuous sneezes into an iron bucket. Willow is questioning if love even matters when everything else is falling apart. But for Ella, who's already scarred from past toxic relationships, this rejection hits harder than any before, and the love story ends in resentment. While reading these conversations, you start to feel like a voyeur peeking into the intimate relationships between these people. And throughout the game, we read about their little fights and arguments, and there's stuff that I left out of this video, but it shows nonetheless how a rift is slowly forming between these guys, between these lab members. And the whole Willow and Ella situation is basically the poster child of this whole drama. And we notice that everyone is carrying their own little burden. Simon is grieving over Oliver, Willow is stuck in a massive moral crisis about her work, and Ella is a little stinky homo rat. And then we gain access to a room that recontextualizes everything. With the latest data upload, the surgery is now available to us. And after the co-working incident, we didn't really had another encounter with whatever is lurking down here, and I was sure that there has to be an encounter any second now. Needless to say, I had a little bit of trouble going into this room.
Yep, looks good. This is the surgery. I mean, there is blood in the surgery. It makes sense if you think about it. Is it a good sign that it's the first thing we see? No. Is the AI of my fucking Google glasses here sure that it is blood at all? Well, no. But it is also 6 meters away. So whatever it is, it's on the other side of the room. Do I want to step into the room? No. Am I stalling for time? Yes.
The surgery was once used to install chips and parts into the corpses and consists of an operating table and a spotlight. But from the door we were able to see blood. And following this trail, we find a man, a bone saw, and a leg. So the case is pretty clear.
Okay, let's maybe think about what we are seeing here. There is blood. There is a leg. There is a bone saw. And there is a man. The situation is pretty clear. I mean, we're in the surgery, so this is absolutely normal. There's nothing to worry about here. If you think about it, everything is fine. There is ink. Why is there ink? What does that mean that there is ink? Is there, like, something here? A claw? Well, I don't know what that is all about. The claw shouldn't be here.
Apparently there's been a fight. Someone made a last stand against the monster and tried to fight it back with a bone saw. They clearly lost the fight, but not without taking off a claw from the beast. That would also explain the ink next to the claw. It's monster blood. Maybe that's why the beast wasn't so fast to get us in the previous encounter. It's injured. Our objective, however, turns out to be a bioprinter.
Let's connect to the bioprinter. Resource currently in use by another operator.
I mean, it can't be accessed remotely, otherwise we wouldn't need to be here. So, is someone else here? If we take a look around, we find something extremely unnerving.
So, well, wait, shouldn't... Okay, aha. Okay, there's a sonar visor. Wait, hold on. Sonar visor? Can we interact with that? Yeah, we can. There's a woman. Holy shit. Wait, there's a woman. And a scalpel. Ooh. Hold on now. We are wearing a sonar visor.
Very good, me. But all jokes aside, what is she doing here? We find a scalpel next to her as well. But being here with the sonar visor only leads to one conclusion.
I think we met our predecessor.
We interact with the visor and it turns out that we can download the new batch of documents through her device. That means she is the one that is still logged into the bioprinter, blocking any new access attempts. But the woman is dead, and we don't know why. I mean, it was probably the monster, but there is no huge blood puddle around her, so I don't know. Could be anything, maybe a heart attack, I don't know. Stored on the visor was a contact brief, similar to our own contract but dated 8 days earlier. It reads fairly similar. Same objective, same side experiment with the sonar visor, only that the reward conditions are different. Where the company is paying our medical fees as compensation for this mission, for this person, the company are clearing her imprisonment charges. I guess they got her out of jail if she agreed to do this job. Looking at these contracts, the picture becomes pretty clear. The company is targeting desperate people. We need probably life-saving medical assistance. That's why we agreed. And this woman lying dead in the surgery accepted this job to get out of prison, where she probably had a life sentence. So who wouldn't take this job? Interestingly, the new contract brief has a small self-written comment at the end.
If this is the future I'm fighting to see, then you can keep it.
Now this leads me to believe that the scalpel next to the woman was no accident. I think after reading every entry like we did, she became aware of what she was risking her life for, what future she was struggling to see. And at this point she gave up, took a scalpel and ended things on her own terms. Now we have quite a few problems to solve here with this story. We need to upload every single download and only then we get access to new rooms. Since we encounter her body fairly deep into the facility, that would mean that she has collected and read as as much as we did at this point. Why do we need to collect everything again? And now this is where I have a little theory. She was the first person that the company sent in to retrieve the research. She had a different Visor version, one that could directly read the files at download. She didn't need to upload the data piece by piece like we did. She was supposed to collect everything and then upload it in one big chunk. But that never happened. She probably told Jean about the monster she encountered or about the bodies that tell a story of the monster being here. He probably said something along the lines of, well, who cares? I need the data. And that's where she said, fuck you, hung up, and ended herself. That would also explain the snarky comments of Jean towards us about something crawling in, because he already knows about it. And he doesn't care. The company didn't got any data from her, so they needed to send us in. But they changed a bunch of stuff to prevent something like this to happen again. Firstly, we can't see the data directly when downloaded. We have witnessed that they can literally adjust the capabilities of our Visor on the fly remotely. Secondly, we only get access to new rooms for each download. This way, the company can ensure that they get at least some of the data if something goes wrong. This could also explain this super redundant method of uploading and getting access to a new part of the facility. Again, this is just a theory of mine that tries to piece together the things we found, but I believe it is out of the question that the company is just straight up evil. And just how evil it is, we will soon see. Accessing the rest of the data we just downloaded, we can finally read what this poll is all about. Simon aptly named it, "Should we make an offering to the deep?" Very straightforward. We can see the results and who voted in favor and against it. Simon voted yes, of course. Savannah, the person responsible that this lab stays habitable, votes no. Xander and Mason, the two league demons, vote yes, but just to spite Savannah, who they had an argument with earlier that I didn't cover, but that's alright. Willow and Ezra vote no, and so does Riot, which leaves Ella's vote as the tipping stone, as otherwise the vote will pass. But then Willow comes in with a low blow towards Ella, which leads Ella to vote for yes, which greenlights the operation. Simon goes ahead and prepares the launch. And in the very next document, we can read what turn of events this offering started.
Hey, the airlock is making this knocking noise.
Let him in.
And leaving us at the brink of disaster, we get access to the very last batch of documents. And it's none other than the laptop we had to walk past the entire game. The one in the lobby next to the minced beef woman, which we now can safely assume to be Riot.
We can turn around, go finally, access the laptop. There's my ketchup sploosh sound, I love that. Always reassures me that I'm in the right spot.
Reading through the data, we learn what happened after they let in whatever was knocking.
Help!
Hi, unfortunately I'm only authorized to assist your executive contact person, who is currently listed as Simon Makinde. Please escalate your inquiry to your team's executive contact person.
Executive contact person is dead.
I'm understanding that your executive contact person is currently unreachable. Can you please provide more details as to why, so I can approve your access request?
Executive contact person has been disemboweled and apprehended by malicious entity.
I'm sorry to hear that. Your access request is now being processed. Our support team will contact you in 2 to 3 business days.
Emergency request! Malicious entity is pounding on kitchen door!
Chancellor, you to commit the word. Pounding. For further assistance, please reach out to your executive contact person.
Now we know that the headless body that was clogging the toilet was Simon. And from the last chat between Mason and Xander, we learned that they hid from the monster in the recreation room. That would also explain the lasagna with hair on the couch, I guess?
Or am I just dumb? Oh, is it maybe...
From their chat, we can also surmise that the other dead person in the surgery is Ezra. Not only is he the head surgeon, he's also hiding there with sharp objects, according to Mason. If you have paid attention, and I hope you have, Then you know that 3 lab members are still unaccounted for: Savannah, Ella, and Willow. The later 2 get in contact. Willow is hiding at the pods, and Ella is in the kitchen together with a dead Savannah. She probably was the first to die when she opened up the door for the monster. Either way, Willow and Ella are stuck in the lab because the team cleverly used the last of the pod charges to launch the specimen into the hole. But Ella has an idea. She stuffs every food source into the recycler to generate power. But it's not enough, so she has to resort to desperate measures. She cuts Savannah's body into pieces with the cleaver and stuffs her into the recycler. This generates enough power for all 4 pods. This would explain why we found the cleaver in the kitchen surrounded by jam, as well as the recycler stat that showed that the waste disposal was a couple 1000% above average. Elated, Ella tells Willow that they can now go to the surface together, but Willow has other plans.
I'm setting half of the pods to go up and half to go down.
To the hole? Willow, what are you doing?
We don't know what it is, but we know it's getting bigger. It will end the world one day. And I can't keep living knowing that I could have done something, but didn't. So I'm going in.
How do you know you won't just die for nothing?
I don't. Come with me. We can face it together.
Willow, I want to see the sun together. I want to go to gigs and hold hands in parks and buy a home and argue in furniture stores and tag each other in cat videos and do all the stupid shit that we are meant to do. I want to have a life with you. Please, Willow.
I love you.
Willow. Willow? Willow. Willow. Willow, are you there? Willow. I love you too.
And that's where the chat stops. As of right now, we don't know what happened to them, but there is one final document that we can read. The last file of the game.
We are now reading Hi text file. Dear Edward, I deleted all our research files. Hope you enjoy our bullshit. Oh! Nice! Oh god, okay. Riot is the best.
Riot has deleted all the research files and replaced them with the private chats we've read throughout the game. That explains why we have read almost exclusively personal drama instead of any actual research. This was Riot's final trick. And right after learning all of this, we get another call from Jean.
Oh, okay, Jean. No, I don't want to talk. Alright.
Well, champ, it looks like it. Oops, hold on a sec. Nothing. Complete fucking waste. I keep telling the board that this electromortology shit is just another wankfest for guys who wear suit jackets over GitHub t-shirts. But what do I know? Christ. Well, just give the lab to whichever department is responsible for dipshits summoning eldritch horrors. Oh, we don't have one of those? Then tell those wankers at risk that they're getting paid too much. Fuck me, just auction it off for underwater bomb tests or something. Not my fucking problem anymore.
What?
And he unceremoniously hangs up on us. No parting words, nothing. He just leaves us in silence 800 meters under the sea in a lab where probably every last member was horribly slaughtered by whatever creature was summoned here. Just because he realized that he won't get the data he needs, and we will never hear from him again. We are now on our own. Unfortunately, Jean didn't give us access to the pod we came to this lab with in the very beginning, but we have one more room to check out, the pod's chamber. And in this room, we find 4 pod launch chambers, and they're all powered up with top-notch Savannah energy. If we recall the last conversation of Willow and Ella, we notice that Willow indeed set up half of the pods to go to the surface, and the rest to go into the hole. And we also find one of those pod chambers that aimed for the hole to be empty. So Willow did indeed shoot her pod into the hole in a desperate act to do something. anything. We also find out what happened to Ella, the last remaining member of this lab. We find an empty pod chamber that headed for the surface, but that means 2 other pods are unaccounted for, and to my surprise, we are suddenly faced with a decision.
Okay, I think we can decide. Do we want to be launched into the hole? Into the all-consuming hole? Or do we want to go back to the surface? Interesting. Alright. But that also means that Ella has escaped, I guess.
And this decision is not easily made. It took me quite a while, actually. Do we go back to the surface, where we can see the sun again and escape the creature, but where our possible terminal illness is still unaccounted for? I mean, seeing how the company treated us and left us to die in the lab, we can't count on them to still fulfill their contract and pay our medical fees to see this illness being treated. And even if we somehow find a way to be cured of this illness, there is still the all-consuming hole that grows every day until it consumes the Earth in 70 years. Or do we launch ourselves directly into this hole, into possible doom like Willow, and don't wait these 7 decades for the world to end, but maybe somehow manage to change this fate for everybody else? Seeing that the player character agreed to do this job in a desperate act of self-preservation, I think launching them into the hole is a little bit out of character for them. But the thing is, we are in control here. We can decide.
I think I'm gonna shoot myself into the ever-eating hole. Into the ever-hungry hole. Let's go. Let's do it. Fuck it.
I decided to go into the hole, and it ends with a huge surprise.
What's that? What?
950 meters below surface.
Oh.
150 meters into our journey, we are suddenly exposed to unshieldable interferences that mess with our visor. Until it breaks. And suddenly, we see the cause of the interference. Not filtered through the AI, but with our very own eyes.
My AI! Oh my god, we see! We can see! Oh my god, we can see! What is that? Is that the hole? Uh-oh. Oh.
And as is custom for Eldritch horror media, the ending remains unexplained and up for interpretation of the audience. But what if we enter the other pod and go back to the surface?
Let's launch the pod to the surface.
It's actually pretty uneventful. It takes quite a while, and the onboard computer reads the distance to the surface every few seconds.
650 meters below surface. 600 meters below surface. 550 meters below surface. Weight limit exceeded. Shutting down.
I think it snatched onto our pod. Why is it so quiet? Oh, I don't want to move. Please go away. I don't want to move. Okay. Oh, there's a wall. Is there? Oh God. Simon, please stop sending me these logs. I was very clear about my reasons for leaving Neuros, and it pains me that you are still so unable to accept what's right in front of you. I will always cherish the time we spent together, but I've moved on now. I hope you'll do that too someday. Oliver. Oh. He's still alive?
In a gut-wrenching twist, we read an answer to Simon's logs. This Oliver that the game leads us to believe has been passed away is actually alive. It seems similar to Willow. He turned away from the project because of ethical concerns. Piecing things together, it seems Simon wasn't mentally well from the very beginning. It seems this project was part of why they both broke up. Oliver wanted to get out of the project, and Simon, ever the curious researcher, wanted to see this through. It seems Simon's mental took a hit from this, as this mail from Oliver recontextualizes all of Simon's logs. The influence of the eldritch hole led Simon spiral into madness exponentially. In the end, the lab brought doom about themselves. Yes, an eldritch horror might have been involved, but petty little fights led to passing a vote to let the monster in, and obeying an obviously mentally unstable leader led to opening all floodgates to hell. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And this might have not been clear, but I like this game. The art style, the gameplay loop, the humor, the horror, all the clues the game throws at you, and actually coming to educated conclusions based on what the game gives you filled me with so much joy. I just had to make a video about this game. And that's why I want you guys to play this game as well. So, buy it. Play it. Subscribe. Like the video. Give me all of your money. I'm not asking. This is a robbery.